So, good morning student, this is Sobhi Dwivedi, your maths tutor. This video lecture is only for the class 10th A and 10th B students. If they are related to the ICSE, okay. So, not for the CBSE. Actually, CBSE has not included. We are the first board who have included the GST topic, okay. So listen very carefully whatever I am going to tell you. The GST means goods and service tax. This tax has been applied by the central government on Indian citizens. Okay, it's an indirect tax. And why they are applying this tax on all of us? Actually, government has to make the hospitals, school, flyover, okay, because of this. And this GST has been divided in three phases. First is known as CGST. CGST means Central Goods and Service Tax. Next is SGST. SGST means State Goods and Service Tax. And next is IGST. IGST means Interstate Goods and Service Tax. When the product will move on first state to next state, that time the IGST will be applied. Okay, clear? Any issue? No, thank you. And after that I will launch some questions related to the GST. Clear? So here are some written work for all of you. I have already told you, but if you have to write down on your copy. So the GST means goods and service tax. GST divided in the three phases. First is CGST, next is SGST, and the last is IGST. So listen very carefully. If you have to find out, if your questions, if someone asked you what is IGST, you have to find out the IGST. That means at that particular time you have to add both the terms, CGST whatever and the SGST. Okay, so the next is, who does apply GST on citizens? Central government. If it direct or indirect tax, is it direct or indirect tax? It's an indirect tax. I have already told you. And the next is, why does government apply GST on citizens? Why does actually government have to give the facility of hospitals, schools, bridges and road? Okay, so the most important thing is that GST, how will you find out the GST? Whatever the price of the product, that will be give you the GST. Okay, in this by the question you will see. Okay, and for if in any question there is you have to find out the IGST, that IGST means you have to add the CGST and the SGST. Okay, so write down your first question. I am going to give you. The question is, the base price of Activa is rupees 42,000. if the GST is chargeable at the rate of 28%. Listen very carefully. The GST on this Activa is 28% and the base price, that means the price of this Activa, is 42,000. So we have to find out, number first, GST. What is the GST amount? Net is CGST. What is the CGST? Central Goods and Service Tax. Next is SGST, means State Goods and Service Tax. And the last one is total amount paid by the buyer. Okay, one thing I want to tell you more, that whatever will be the GST, half part of GST divided to the SGST, means half part of GST will move to the central and half part of the GST will move to the state government. Okay, thank you. Please write down this question, and after this lecture I will introduce the solution of this particular question. Thank you. Please write down this question. So students, ready for the solution? The base price of the question, the base price of Activa is rupees 42,000. If the GST is chargeable at the rate of 28%, so find the GST amount and the CGST amount, SGST amount and total amount paid by the buyer. So ready? What is the base price of the Activa? It's a 42,000. 42,000. Okay, and what is GST applied on this product? So GST percentage, GST is given in percentage. So GST, what is GST amount? GST amount is what? GST percentage is given, GST amount is not given, but we have to find out the GST amount. Okay, so GST is what? What is GST they have to pay? Whatever the buyer have to pay, how much? 28%. So this is 42,000 of 28%. Okay, this will give you the GST amount. Clear? So it's a 42,000 into 28 upon 100. So 0 has been cancelled out here. So what we have a 420 into 28. So 420 multiplied by 28, what you will get? Multiply it 420 into 28. 8 multiplied by 0, this is 0. 8 to the 16, 8 4 the 32, 32 plus 1 33. Clear? Into, now cross 2 in multiply by 0, this is 0. 2 to the 4 and 2 4 the 8. So it's a 0 6 4 3 7 8 3 11. So GST amount paid by the buyer is 11,760 rupees. 11,760 rupees. Is it clear? So now listen, GST amount we have got. So it's 11,670. Next is, it is clear, next is CGST. How will you find out the CGST? I have already told you, whatever the half part of the GST is called CGST, and also it will called as SGST. So means SGST and CGST both are equal. Listen, SGST and CGST. If, listen here, if the GST percentage is 28%, that means 14% of the product price will be CGST or SGST. Okay, so we are already dividing here the SGST is equal CGST. That means half part of the GST will give you the SGST or CGST both. Okay, so half part means 1 by 2 of 11,760 is give you the SGST and CGST. So half part of 11,760 is what? 2 5 ja 10, 2 8 ja 16, and 2 8 ja again 16. 5,880 rupees also the SGST and CGST. If you see here, if you multiply 2 by the 5,880, you will get again the GST. So that means we have learned that GST divided in two equal parts for the CGST and SGST. And the last question is SGST clear, CGST clear, and last GST clear. And the last question, ready for the last question. Suppose see here, if the price of this Activa is 42,000 and the buyer had to pay, who will pay it? Buyer will pay it. What amount buyer will pay? Amount will be paid by the buyer, whatever the GST he is giving. So this is GST is 11,760 will be add on the price. Okay, so the amount will be paid by the, so the amount will be paid by the buyer is what? 42,000. He has to pay the 42,000 rupees. It is the price, it is the base price of the scooty, 42,000 rupees, plus whatever he has paid the GST amount. The GST amount is 11,760. So the sum of 42,000 plus 11,760, this is what? 0 6 7 213. So the amount he has to pay how much? 53,760. Okay, this is your particular solution. Okay, I am again repeating the questions. The solution of the question: base price of Activa was 42,000 and he has to pay the GST how much? 28%. So the base price of the scooty multiplied by the GST percentage, it's a 28% is given. So 42,000 multiplied by 28, it's a percent change in form of fraction, it will be 1 upon 100. So it is 100 will be cancel out here. So 420 into 28, we will get 11,760. And listen, GST, the equal parts of GST will be divided for the SGST and CGST. So half part of GST, this is what? 5,880 rupees. So what is the amount the buyer has to pay? Buyer has to pay 42,000 plus whatever he has to pay the GST. Okay, he has to pay a GST 11,760 rupees. So the total amount will be paid by the buyer is 53,760 rupees. Thank you.